Hello everyone, this is Kuo and this is my laundry talk. Okay, so this is my language show. Not language show. This show is for my language improvement, nothing else. So I will talk whatever I want to talk, and if you think I'm doing great, I will thank you. So today I'm going to talk about mind shift, and specifically mind shift between Japan, or since I came to Canada, and now. Yeah, so the idea was coming from job hunting again. I've been applying several jobs and trying to find the right job for myself, right? And I just realized that I cannot feel my what's the word for it? It's related to money, but I cannot think about going back to Starbucks job or something, minimum pay job. And there is significant difference between when I came here and right now. So I just wanna, not to analyze, but I would like to vocalize it, and I just want to know what I feel. It's almost like analyzing, eh? I just find it very interesting, like how I felt when I came here and how I feel right now. So probably it's gonna be around my jobs, but at the same time probably could be beyond jobs. But I will stick to job because I don't want to make it too broad, so that I tend to have struggle expressing what I feel when the idea is very vague. So yeah, let's get started. So I came to Vancouver about now 4 years ago, because it's 2023 right now, right? And I came here 2019. Actually around this time, it was September 7th or somewhere around. And yeah, I was very excited, and I was also nervous about it. But at that time, I would say that my excitement is much bigger than my nervousness or fear coming to Canada. And one reason is that when I was in Japan, I was just not feeling it. I was about to be pushed over, or I was about to be suppressed by my own expectation to myself. I was very scared not being able to be the place I would like to be, and those desire I would like to be is not necessarily coming from myself. So precisely it was coming from my thoughts, but at the same time I was worried about how I am perceived by others. So my idea of where I should be is actually coming from the assumption that I made. Assumption that people would consider me if I'm in, the position where I should be. And I just I was just forming by the reaction I was expecting from others. And at the end of the day, like most decision by myself. But the problem was whenever I make bad decisions, I have became afraid to make decisions even because essentially you will never know what other people's thinking, or you cannot fulfill everyone around you, right? So you just cannot make assumption, but you are trying so hard to make those assumptions, and you are what's the word for it? You are almost dictated by the idea that you imagine that other people would think. And okay, I'm going spiral right now, but yeah, I was very suffocated, and I wanted to feel free. And I mean, it's not specifically not only jobs, but also other like my personal life as well. But yeah, a lot of time, and I just felt like coming to Canada, or not necessarily Canada, but going out from Japan might help me to feel a little bit more free, and I can just be myself. Yeah, so I came to Canada 4 years ago. I went to school about a month to just figure out my life. I have 3 weeks, 2 weeks to figure out where I will live, where I will work, X, Y, Z. And yeah, so I went for job hunting 4 years ago. My English was okay, not fantastic, but I got a job from Starbucks, and I was so happy. I was so proud of myself that I could be that place. And even though it was minimum pay job, I didn't even think about that. Like, I was just very happy to be able to work in here. And I do remember that like I was very fulfilled every day, and of course I sometimes felt lazy to go to work, but at the same time I just genuinely proud of myself. And time goes by. I'm used to living here, and I've got a partner, and the job I got pays me much bigger than other the minimum pay job like Starbucks or other entry level job. I was very blessed to be able to find that job. And yeah, just to clarify, I got a job through Indeed, so it was definitely my effort. And of course I got assist from my partner, but yeah, and then I happened to make decent amount of money in Canada, and I definitely felt happy, and at the same time I was much more fulfilled because it's not repetitive job like Starbucks. It's you gotta be creative to work. And definitely first year, second year, I appreciate the environment a lot. But once you have fair amount of responsibility for your job, for your life, and standard becoming changed, right? And like at some point I started having lots of complaints towards my current company, and also my life in Canada. I never felt like I had to be something, but as time goes by, my expectation to myself becoming much larger and larger, and once you are in the market, you are happy with minimum job, but now you can see more numbers out there and you get, I don't know, greedy is the right word, but definitely standards going up and you just cannot stand with the, I mean, you cannot stand emotionally maybe, but I'm more like a physically, you just cannot fulfill your life like you could 3 years ago. I just cannot live with, you know, two grand a month. Like that wouldn't be, I wouldn't be able to sustain financially. And it just, okay, this is nothing negative, like it just, the life shifts and this is like most people will experience. But I just find it very interesting that like how much I felt I could feel happy when I just came here, but now I wouldn't be able to happy, or I could potentially be broke. And I guess broke doesn't necessarily translate being sad, but I would definitely have less choices once I start working for a minimum pay job. It's just wild that choices you, once you're exposed to certain level, going back down is very hard. And but you have to be able to humble and, you know, it doesn't have to be pay cut, but be ready to start from ground again, I guess. And that's why people go back to school and, you know, yeah, once you have enough experience, you can still manage to live your life and start from ground. And but sometimes it's definitely scary to let go what you already have, and especially once you change things, you will never know. It's like a gamble. You will never know what to expect. And let's just say, okay, let's just say I'm making 60 grand right now, and I got a job that pays you about 80-90 grand a year. And but you know, you will never know if you perform well or not, and if you cannot, you just won't be able to work for them, right? And once you think about all those possibilities, like it is definitely scary. And but at the same time, if you're not happy with current situation, like you gotta risk and change stuff. And the stress that you go through when you experience change, that always makes me think that I don't want to do this again. I just want to stay very stable, right? I just can't imagine what I feel like when I'm, you know, 35, 40, 45. It's fun to look back and like how you could feel. Okay, let's go back way back, like when you were teenager and let's say grade 7, 8, like you started being able to go out by yourself and you start being able to pay for what I want, you know, like of course you don't work anymore, but you get allowance from parents or whatever, like you start being able to independent. And I remember things like I bought little, you know, Pokemon card from like one of those grocery stores or convenience store in Japan, and I felt so happy. I couldn't buy 3 or 4, just one, but I was so happy that I was able to do that. And nowadays, I mean, I don't play Pokemon card anymore, but if I need those, I will probably buy, you know, 3 or 4 without any emotion involved. And like you cannot get the satisfaction we used to have, and that's life, and that's so fun. That's why that encourages me to go something more, something bigger, and I don't want to forget about that. Like, I can always recreate those feelings with something different. Like, it doesn't have to be bigger, but you could actually experience something similar, but you cannot from the one you've already experienced. And if you actually take advantage of this feeling, I used to love watching movies, and I actually like wrote down, or at that time I was typing to my movie review account that like what I felt, what I saw through movies at the time, and you rewatch them, and instead of just I just rewatch them, it was nice but it wasn't as fun as you watched first time, or it was actually more exciting as before, but not just feeling it. You can actually go back to those reviews and see how I actually felt at that time, and I will start rewriting what I felt through watching these movies again, and you will see the difference how you actually feel. You might not have the exact sensation that you felt first time, but you will definitely feel something different, and it's fun. Like you actually visually see how, not necessary every time, but you definitely feel how much you grow, you know, since last time to this time, and this is very unique experience, right? But it's just not limited in movies, like anything in our life. And job is a very good example that like how you felt today is very fresh, but at the same time how you feel 3 months later, 6 years later, 10 years later will be very different. So whatever the change is, negative or positive, it's always interesting to see those mind shift. So thank you so much. Bye now.